I was like, let me sit up.
You're gonna sit up. All right. We are recording. I think I got you positioning yourself there. It's all right. But hello, everyone. It's Sean Cardinale. I've got my very special guest, Gregory Clifton Smith.
Hi, friends.
He's you're in Philly. You're in Philadelphia.
PA.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you for jumping on today. This is Life in Quarantine Day 12. You think I'd be done in 2 more days, Greg, but I think with everything going on and what the health department is saying, I may stay another week. I don't know. We'll find out in 2 days. But
I don't blame you. I mean, I'm still staying self-quarantined only to go out to get the mail.
the mail, what are you doing for food?
Oh, I stocked up.
You stocked up? Okay, you're good.
Yeah, I'm real good with food. Like, I stocked up to the point where I went to Aldi's and I got 2 lobsters.
You got lobsters. You're getting fancy in quarantine. That's fancy quarantine.
All right, 2 frozen lobsters.
I'm like bachelor, like beans and rice and like tortillas over here. But I want to tell everybody. So obviously, people who are friends with both of us on social media know who you are. But I'm going to tell everybody that you're Greg Smith. We went to high school together, St. Mary's in Stockton. Graduated 1991.
He graduated in 91. I graduated in 2001. Thank you very much.
Get out of here. What are you talking about? Oh, because you're young, you're youthful. That's right. I'm sorry, my bad. Yeah, you're not 46 or 47 or anything like that.
Not at all.
Yeah. Black
Barely.
So Greg and I met maybe freshman or sophomore year, and Greg, I want to give you this attribute right now for everyone to hear. You introduced me to New Jack Swing, Guy, Teddy Riley, all the music that transitioned, right? We went from R&B being like Luther Vandross to kind of a more hip, funky R&B, and you gave me that, and you also taught me how to hammer time.
I mean, hello, you got to know how to hammer time.
Right. But that was you. I don't know if you ever knew that, but that's what, like, hanging out with you at Al Sumachow's, that's what I got. I mean, I got, and so you helped me, mold that late 80s, early 90s aesthetic. And you also introduced me to Spike Lee because we watched School Days over at Al's a number of times, and not Do the Right Thing. That was a couple years later, and it got all hardcore. But you specifically got me into, Spike Lee, Hammer Time, and not the little Running Man that they do, the millennials do. It looks like kind of like a chihuahua on a treadmill on its back legs. Not that one. The real one, like you were doing, elbows and knees. And
by the time you're finished, you had a full cardio workout. Yes.
It's true. So look, man, I wanted to bring you on because we had a good talk the other day, and it's nice to hear another voice besides my BS and yammering, but also sort of share what you've been going through with the coronavirus, and you're a public school teacher, and tell me what you're doing with your students and for yourself during this whole situation.
Well, I want to start out by saying I'm not calling it a corona anything but a coronacation. So this is my vacation from my students. And I want to thank every single parent that has my students right now because I needed the break. You think you need the break? Try being with them 5 days out of the week. I have one group because I teach career and technical education for 5 times a week for 3 hours a day. So this is a group of 21 students. And they are seniors going through puberty or actually ending puberty. So I'm very happy to have this break. On the flip side, it's kind of a challenge because I'm dealing with seniors planning prom. I'm doing a yearbook. I'm also, still had active projects literally midway through, and then all of a sudden we had to stop. So as a teacher, I feel kind of ripped off because, we were making some momentum before senioritis really hit. Mm-hmm. And I know it's a done deal if we're going back.
So you don't know if you're going back. I read that Philly, like some of the Southern California schools, likely isn't, right? Because of the equity issues, and some kids don't have online contact, or maybe there's language issues or whatever. So are you in that same situation?
Yeah, so currently I'm actually communicating with as many students as possible, either sending emails or actually physically contacting them to determine what kind of resources they may need. So I work in a Title I school, which means that most of my students are around or slightly below the poverty level, which means that they qualify for lunch programs. Well, if they qualify for lunch programs, there's a possibility that they're food insecure. So there's programs in place now to make sure that these students have access to at least breakfast and lunches. On the flip side, many students don't have like internet or any type of device to truly access online learning. So as a strategy for equity to make sure that all children are treated equal, at the moment, my district, as well as many other larger districts, are not requiring online learning. We can provide our students with resources, but we can't necessarily grade them because of the inequality of one student may have a computer and can do the work, another student may not even have internet access to even access them.
But so how does that work for you as a teacher though? Then are you literally like inviting classes to come together to congregate online, and then some are like, nah, peace, I'm good, and then some do show up? Like how are they responding to you if it's sort of optional?
Well, I'm actually not providing until my school district says it is time for online learning. I'm communicating with my students. I do have the Google platform to provide them with information, and my information that I'm providing now are where you can go get your food sources. Just trying to check to see if there's any needs of my students. So if my student tells me that, hey, I'm not able to do XYZ, then I'm going to connect them to the right resource. But currently I'm not doing any lesson planning to fulfill
Okay, okay. And then you
that. I
mentioned
also have seniors and they're checked out. So
right. They're like, nah, we're good. Yeah, no, that's senioritis was terrible. I remember that year. But you already mentioned what everyone always looks forward to, what you build up to. Never mind your classes, you're full on senioritis. But you mentioned prom, you mentioned yearbook. Now I know the other day, if you can reiterate what you said the other day about yearbook, you are kind of keeping things going, but maybe participation's a little sketchy. When
right.
prom
So
is like gone, right? Like it's terrible. Like it's what you look forward, not only prom, but just your graduation ceremony. It's what you look forward to. So are they kind of bemoaning that?
well, it's kind of like a mixed bag. Obviously, there's those students that are like, yes, we don't have to do work. On the flip side, we have I have a couple students that have contributed greatly to the yearbook, largely because they're invested in it and they're having fun. When I say a number of students, it's three. But our challenge, for instance, is spring sports. We're supposed to have 3 pages dedicated to spring sports. Guess what? There's no spring sports. Let alone we don't have a single picture because they just started practicing when our quarantine began.
Right.
So now we have 3 pages that we need to fulfill and a deadline that's right around the corner if we're going to get it printed in time for them to have it by the end of the school year.
Didn't you get some materials like you were like, don't we have to save these, crop them, like get them all set? And some of the students were like, nah, you're good. You can handle that, Mr. Smith. Or you say you've got a couple that are really helping you out.
See, that's the polite thing to do is say, thanks a lot, Mr. Smith. I'm good. I just been ghosted.
Oh no. Oh
Just
no.
MIA.
Well, so as far that covers the student part. So as far as if things come around, I mean, it's looking less and less likely, but say, in May, they're like, okay, just cram in, whatever you can the last month. What do? Just throw together a prom with like streamers and like a ceremony as quickly as you can for graduation?
So the good thing is, depending on the time, I've already reserved a lot of the stuff. So we have a hotel reserved for a date in May. If we get in before May, we're just going to make it happen. Graduation is June 7th, and the venue's already there. I have senior lunch, which is going to be at a Dave and Buster's. It's all preset. It's just a matter of will we be able to execute it, and it's something that my principal and I have to talk about. Is determining what's our next move. Like, what if? One of the things I have in mind is like, if we're not able to have prom and graduation during the time that we're supposed to, let's have it at another scheduled date. Even if prom isn't as grand as what we're going to have, if it's in the gym and we can make it as formal as possible and it's in July, let's make it happen.
Okay.
As
Okay.
long as before they go to college.
Right. Just so you can have some kind of pomp and circumstance. I mean, that's kind of the whole thing. I feel bad for the class of 2020 everywhere,
I do too.
and high school. There's just nothing. This is so unprecedented. you know, they don't get to have that flair and everything. So what about you now personally? So you're obviously dealing with exactly what you shared with, as far as, you know, you're still doing some of your work, communicating with the administrators and also communicating with the students that are still participating. What about you, Greg Smith? Like, what's going on with you personally and how you're handling all this?
I have to tell you, once again, it is a vacation for me. Everything I was planning to do, like I painted my basement walls, I was able to do because I have the time. Um, I'm also sleeping in. Like I refuse to get up before 9 o'clock.
Oh,
This is the
when you wouldn't record this earlier with me, that wasn't you like interacting with your kids or the administrator. That was you like getting some like beauty
that's
rest.
me sleeping in. It's
All right.
it's
Now
Coronacation.
I'll be blowing you up. I'll be texting you and blowing you up at like 6, 9 times. Wake you up next time. But you know, these little videos that I do aren't very long, and for some reason the recording function on this doesn't. We're recording, but it doesn't have a timer. We're probably somewhere near around 10 minutes or whatever. But again, I want to thank you for doing this, but also, you know, just any other anecdotes or anything, like what's the wildest thing that's happened out there in Philly? Because Pennsylvania, I saw a map. Pennsylvania isn't one of the shelter, like officially shelter in place. You guys are doing like counties, but it's not,
Right.
it's not like all hands on deck yet. Like, do you want that, or is it good as is?
I think it's good as is for us right now. Our biggest concern is folks from New York coming down, which they're not. Um, there were a number of spots that were located in the more suburban areas, and they pretty much requested quarantine. So we are quarantined. Um, However, like I can freely go to a shopping center if I wanted to buy necessities.
Okay, so it's like gas, groceries, healthcare, cops and first responders are still up, kind of like New York or Cali or here.
Right, right. But it's casual,
Here,
and there's not much going on.
can you still get a Philly cheesesteak? Because here they are shutting down almost all retail. You can do drive-throughs still, but you can't walk in and congregate anymore. Is that the same there? You can get your steak still?
You can pick up. So if you still want your Philly cheesesteak, you can order it, pay with credit card, go there, pick it up, and then leave.
Where's your spot? Where do you go for it?
I do not eat Philly cheesesteaks.
Dude, how are we ending the video on that? I mean, I know you're California like me, but you've been there. Dude, I love Philly cheesesteaks. There's a place, it's called California Pastrami right down the street. It's called California Pastrami, and I get a Philly cheesesteak in New Mexico there. But it works.
I'm sorry. I minimize my grease consumption.
Good, that's good. But you got lobster, so you're not too bad. You got lobster. Well, thank you for this time, Greg Smith, and for sharing your experience.
Absolutely, Sean.
And I know we'll talk offline some more over the next couple of days and weeks, but that's Greg Smith joining me, Sean Cardinale, today, day 12 of Life in Court. What day are you on?
This is day 11.
11. Oh, you're right there.
Yeah, we're right there.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Oh, one thing. Hey, parents, this is the perfect opportunity for you to teach your kids some basic soft skills.
Nice.
Show your kids how to do laundry, how to communicate, how to cook. Do whatever you can right now to prepare your kids for life after they leave your home. That's what 2 things. Career technical education.
Perfect ending. Perfect ending. Thank you very much, Greg. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for joining.
Peace out.
Peace.